Hi, and welcome back to The Soup. I'm your friendly host and a longtime White House correspondent, taking you on a tour through the turgid miasma that is the White House and D.C. politics. I'm Brian Karem. Listen, according to Donald Trump this week, he's not going to give up on the presidential race, even if he's convicted of the felony charges he now faces in a Miami federal court. That leaves open, for the moment, the interesting possibility that the next president of the United States could take the oath of office in Leavenworth before issuing a pardon on himself, getting on a plane in Kansas City, and then flying back to D.C. in glorious triumph over the rule of law and putting into motion a revenge act fueled by rage and violence. That's Donald Trump's dream. Many call it a nightmare. And Donald Trump doesn't care if you do. He's too busy an hour after being arraigned this week, getting on an airplane, sending out an email to his followers, telling them to please give this billionaire with his private airplane, who is so popular, he needs some money. Now, look, Jack Smith put the fear of God into Donald Trump this week. When he spoke, he came out after the indictment was unsealed, explained it, took no questions, and left one reporter obsequiously squirming in the corner trying to ask a question that he didn't get off. There's no way to look at Jack Smith without thinking of the way Quint described, a shark's eye in Jaws. It's like a glass eye, like a black eye, a doll's eye, lifeless. I recognize the species. He's a shark, right? And you have to wonder, looking at Deadeye Jack, if dear Donald has even considered the worst case scenario for him, spending the rest of his natural life behind bars. Who are we kidding? It haunts his every thought. Most of Trump's critics believe it won't come to that, and plenty of his worshipers don't either. However, I remind you, look deep into Jack Smith's eyes and tell me you don't start singing in Quint's voice, "Farewell and adieu to your fair Spanish ladies. Farewell and adieu, the ladies of Spain." Anyway, Trump is about to find out that the nonsense he spouts outside the courtroom, right, is going to get him inside the courtroom. It's going to be a calamity for him, particularly in a criminal trial of this magnitude. It's unprecedented, and he's notorious. He's going to be exposed as the traitorous, incompetent, callous buffoon and charlatan that he really is. Maybe Donald Trump is deluded himself into thinking he can beat this rap. He probably has, whatever the rap, because he'll do whatever it takes. If all else fails, he'll get his supporters and his opponents riled up at a bar, get them all fighting with each other while he tries to sneak out. It won't work. Deadeye Jack Smith is there waiting for him. And the bottom line to all of this, the country is suffering because of Donald Trump. We know it. Most of us do. And those of us that don't are the ones that were taken advantage of the most by Donald Trump. I hope we find a little bit of commonality in this, and people would just read the indictment. And if it doesn't read like a Three Stooges comedy, and you realize that it was the president of the United States doing these things, and he's only been indicted because of his own words, his own deeds, his own actions recorded on tape, or witnesses that include people that worked for him who had photographs and text messages. All of the information provided to indict Donald Trump was provided by the Donald Trump people or Donald Trump himself. He has no one to blame but himself. Peace out. Catch you next time. I am Brian Karem. You can catch me and an article about this very thing on salon.com. You can read the book called Free the Press or catch the podcast, Just Ask the Question, wherever fun podcasts are sold. Thanks a lot. Talk to you next time.
Hey, Midas Mighty. Love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.